you know, I've run into bad, you know, there was no inevitable when you have like 10 different spots, but, you know, they're only there for it.
Plus, did you see? Did not.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said.
No one wants.
We're not on credit card.
Oh, we're not?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not even.
I could fucking eat it.
Even if you were to go, I'm gonna see. Just say.
Yeah, but no one wants to see that.
That's a good bring a plate.
I mean,
Candy reward.
I don't wanna watch you eat.
Yeah.
But it's always.
No
next
offense,
time.
Clover.
Yeah.
My God.
Right.
You wanna watch me eat?
I'm okay, actually.
Yeah.
But,
Yep. Although I can hold
come on,
that next time, I said next
come on,
time.
my
Between
overtime.
Oh, yeah.
Assisted by locomotion.
I saw that.
Yeah, they might.
Lamine Yamal having as many La Ligas as Cristiano Ronaldo.
I know.
But he's just a teenager.
You're gonna find that.
Ronaldo's a conqueror of high school.
Right.
Teaching, they'll be. School students, yeah, bringing it up forever.
How's it going with Barca? And
Oh, it's
No, the medium on.
beautiful. I love Lamine Yamal.
Ryan might go.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Lamine Yamal is my phone background.
It's always really.
You go to the worst player off, so like half a picture.
Yeah.
Huh?
You gotta like,
You're
right.
almost in one figure.
Yep, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Miami.
Oh.
I don't think I have Inter Miami.
Yeah, there's the one.
Oh, you have like a stylist?
Yeah.
Where
have
for her wearing?
Ace right.
Oh yeah, I have an Inter Miami jersey.
It's
Like,
Fancy.
oh, I can't write on it. Just. You should use an actual pen. Right out
Yeah.
permanently. I mean, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
There.
Actually, I have my notepad. One look really labeled OUSC.
I'm okay with thank you.
I got it as a snack. I was like, I thought it's substance.
Yes, I don't remember what exactly we were donating for, but I know we're donating to.
VSS?
What?
Also, I didn't.
For VSS?
DSS.
Oh, DSS, yeah, okay.
I don't remember what we were helping fund.
I
but-
thought we were waiting to hear back from them if they needed something.
Yeah, which I think it wasn't on the budget last time. If it's on there now, then Marcus has something.
It was on there last time.
It was?
It was, he had said we would take it off, he didn't have something.
Okay. Everybody's questions, okay.
Sorry,
Whatever.
the hearing format thing is.
That's what it is.
Wow.
That's a question. Do you have any questions about that? That's for me.
He just thought it wasn't loading, because it wasn't
whatever.
blank agenda. No, it's just that we're approving the format. Or they're,
Okay, keep it simple, I guess.
we're getting paid this.
Should I have a-
I was like.
Anybody have some questions for me? I'll get to- Yeah. Thank you.
Did I just flip?
I love you, Christine. I can order food now.
Yeah, I have another question. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Don't you two live together? You know, just find
I know.
out.
That's a great question, actually.
It's a great question for like day one of moving in.
I like strawberry cheesecake. Those
Ugh.
are really good. Or there's like a really good caramel one that,
My time sheet.
Because that's not your time sheet.
It's my time.
Copy and paste.
Okay, but it is like legitimate, it's been there for.
Yeah, it's been there for.
That's usually to see the way that a lot of
Just share
this
it.
stuff is, because it used to be so much more built up. It's like, oh, this is now just in the middle of
Yeah.
vacant lots and single family homes.
Yeah, but it was great. You just took our hands, we're like. I'm so sure.
What are you trying to edit?
Okay.
I mean, the waiting room.
What about the waiting room?
I turned it off, but it still let people into the waiting room.
Well, you should have it on for the purpose of moving people to the waiting room.
But isn't the waiting room just allowed people to in the meeting?
Yes, and if like they're going up for approval, because they can't just be like kicked out of the meeting or like they can't walk out, they get put back in the waiting room until we're done with the voting.
A lot of substitute teaching. Oh, yeah, it's your education. I forgot about that.
Which is going to happen today because Ethan Bell is going up for parliamentarian and they're online, so.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Last Wednesday, before coming to the meeting, I had to take a drug to my internship,
Oh, were you interning?
DTE.
Okay.
I'll let you tell much.
And aside from that, dog sitting, that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, I used to dog sit a lot.
I mean, a lot of
Not anymore
Minnesotans
for
I know,
whatever reason.
I've talked to, yeah, they're either from Michigan or they
I get paid.
from
That's all that
Michigan to
matters.
Cleveland.
Did I just?
The answer for DSS was an I mentioned,
I
yeah.
think everybody I used to dog sit for, like, assume that I'm busy.
We're
so
supposed to
still
want to
on-
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know I get out.
We've already talked.
Did
Yeah.
somebody near the camera just say that they intern at DTE?
Yeah.
We're figuring out.
Hi.
Yo, me too. No way.
3, what department? What department?
Gas noms.
No fucking way.
Who's talking? I don't know who's talking.
Senzo.
Who?
Vincenzo. Vince.
New legislator.
Okay, I'll have to text you privately about it. I will harass
Yeah.
everybody else, but that's sick.
That's pretty cool, that there's a couple legislators at work.
Thank you, Emily.
Lance asked who was talking, he said Chenzo was talking, and he's like, who?
Yeah, he was asking. We work for some company.
Ben's history. He's like Twin Peaks.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We need content.
I feel so welcome there.
It's nice going to like those type of.
Okay, we had a.
Okay.
I should be.
Alright,
It's because you're like. the small-
we ready to rock?
Fair. It's my president voting. Is there any real reason to do that? They president voting.
I mean, it just prevents you from abstaining. It kind of gives people a heads up that you'll be voting yea or nay on everything, which, I don't know. I guess it lets people like coordinate things easier.
I'm trying to watch more.
Because if Real Madrid.
I'm like, you know what, I'll watch
Comes along,
I'll put on a TV show, I'll read.
it also gives Real.
I've been reading them.
For you, I just.
Oh, nice.
I've learned that I only work on external accountability, and if I hold myself accountable, it won't happen.
That cooks sometimes.
Hey,
What do you
force
read?
myself to only. I forced myself to only put books that I've read on the shelf. The rest of them have to sit in a pile on the floor, and I don't want to.
All right.
Oh.
Thank you. I will call this meeting to order at 5:06 PM. Going into a roll call attendance, Speaker DeVore,
President voting.
Chairperson Smith,
Present and voting.
Chairperson Valdez. Present. Legislator Barris,
She'll be late.
Legislator Brummer,
President voting.
Legislator Childs. Legislator Jersey.
Present.
Legislator Fayette Ates.
President voting.
Legislator Ivezov,
Present.
Legislator Lemon Pace,
Present.
Legislator Lunger,
Present.
Legislator Maku,
Present.
Legislator Markowitz,
Present.
Legislator Martino,
President voting.
Legislator Mays. Legislator Mason. Legislator Nicole. Legislator Obra.
Present.
Legislator Christian Darrow.
Yeah.
Wait.
Nailed it.
Legislator Rosario.
Present.
Legislator Serbu. Legislator Smith, Kinsey. Legislator Snell.
Present and voting.
Legislator Van Patten.
President voting.
Legislator Vala.
Bella.
Present.
Legislator Waters.
Present.
Legislator Wiegand. Legislator Wolf.
Present.
Legislator Barris.
Hi,
Are you present or president? Vote?
present, please.
All right, let's move on to our land acknowledgement. Further, we recognize the wrong done to those who forcibly removed from their homelands and commit to fostering an environment of inclusion that is responsive to the needs of First Peoples through our words, policies, and actions. And next we can go into the approval of meeting minutes from last meeting, May 7th. Are there any motions at this time to amend the meeting minutes?
No, I don't know.
I recognize Legislator Benefits.
I am a little bit concerned about them because there's a whole section missing. I like the summary format, especially because we have a recording, but there's a whole section missing at the bottom with legislative updates and initiatives and projects. Also, it seems that the discussion on a couple different things, there was more discussion than the document leads to believe, so I feel like there should be some revision here. Or at least mention of more of the speakers that spoke at last meeting. It was a pretty long meeting. We had a lot of speakers. Like when you go to the budget, there's not a single note about people who commented. I know there's people missing for the discussion on the judiciary chair and the steering chair. I'm not saying we should list everybody, but I feel like there should be more people listed for the summary. And then again, with the legislative updates section being missing. So I'm a little concerned about that.
Legislator motion.
So I guess motion to table approval of the meeting minutes.
Is anyone second?
Second.
I would like to counter that.
So I guess, is there a second to the counter motion?
You don't need to.
Oh. So I guess we can.
What if, and Bree, am I allowed to motion for discussion on the tabling of the meeting minutes? Yes. Motion for a brief discussion on the tabling of the meeting minutes. Second that.
How brief is brief?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, read it.
Maybe I don't know, 5 minutes, is that good?
How about 3 minutes?
Well, I feel like 5 minutes would be for
Oh, yeah.
people interested to speak.
Give me 5-minute discussion for the addition to the meeting minutes tabling. Sorry, stop. I recognize Emily Munger.
I remember writing meeting minutes last summer. I was helping Director of Internal Affairs Taylor Richardson, and meeting minutes, you want them to be short and brief. You just want like a brief basic description of, you know, what happened during the meeting, and you don't need to list everything. Like for legislative updates and initiatives, just list the basics. The meeting minutes are not supposed to be too long. It's just supposed to be like a brief description of what, you know, of what happened during each part of the meeting. And I would say, you know, less than a paragraph for each section, because that's what I did and they came out great, and they got approval each time.
The chair recognizes legislators now.
I just wanted to second what Emily said. Like, yes, I recognize the first point about discuss. I believe it was discussion about legislative initiatives or something was missing. That we can add in. However, I don't think we need to list every single person who spoke alongside a brief summary of what they said. We share a video of our meetings open to the public anyways. If it's truly that imperative that they see what specifically was said, they can go to the video. I yield.
The chair Legislator Brummer.
I just wanted to add that, previous meeting minutes had also included everyone's individual vote, not just the total result of the vote. And I am in favor of seeing that added into these meeting minutes as well.
The chair recognizes Legislator Lemonface.
I did want to just say super quick, to address Legislator Lunger's point, the entire legislative initiatives section is just not present. There's nothing about, there's only there's no, because I know there were more things given for projects and initiatives, and I don't even just mean mine, there were just other updates given. And then also, I don't believe that everyone who spoke should be noted, but like, there was more discussion than this would lead to indicate. Also, this is a departure from the previous style, which I like this departure. I think that if we've got the transcription available, that's fine. But I would like to see more of the summary included if we're making our meeting minutes more condensed.
The chair recognizes Chairperson.
Thank you very much. I would echo some sentiment from Legislator Lehman Pace. The meeting minutes, the new style, I like it. I just wish it was a little bit more, it had a little bit more to it. I see nothing wrong with tabling it until next week. We can approve this meetings and last meetings at the same time. I don't think it would be too much more work. I don't know, I would like to see it tabled.
The chair recognizes Legislator Waters.
Thank you. I just want to second what Legislator Brummer said. I think it is very important that our votes are public because we are elected by the student body, and I think they deserve to know how we vote on things.
The chair recognizes Legislator Lemonface.
Also, tabling doesn't mean that we're getting rid of it entirely, it just means it'll be brought up again later.
Are there any further points of discussion at this point? Seeing none, we can end the discussion here.
Point of legislative.
I was making a motion to move this to above.
We're doing that.
Okay.
I was gonna raise a point of order since Legislator Searbo just came in, so mark them.
Legislator Serbu.
Present.
Present.
Wrong.
One above them. First one?
Speaker DeWolf.
Yay.
Chairperson Smith.
Yay.
Legislator Brummer.
Yay.
Legislator
Stay at the.
Fayette. Fayette.
Yay.
Fayette.
Yes. Vote against.
Legislator Martino.
Yay.
Legislator Snell.
Nay.
Legislator Van Patten,
Yay.
Chairperson Valdez,
Yay.
Legislator Barris,
Yay.
Legislator Swiki,
Yay.
Legislator Evazov,
Yay.
Legislator Lemon Pace,
Yay.
Legislator Lunger,
Yay.
Legislator Maku,
Yay.
Legislator Markowitz,
Yay.
Legislator Oprah,
Yay.
Legislator Krishandara,
Yay.
Legislator Rosario,
Yay.
Legislator Serbu.
Yay.
Point of order, it looks like a lot of legislators, including myself, are absent from the list.
Not me again.
Marcus, you said you picked it.
I
didn't fix
You fix it on hold.
Oh, you went past me.
I mean, Molly, you wouldn't think.
That might.
That's a more modern one.
Okay.
Alright.
Point of order, while we're editing that, could legislators Christian Darrow and Layman Pace be marked as present and voting, please? I was gonna pass a note up, but I was informed that it's not kosher.
Great people.
It just caught me off guard, that's okay.
President voting, correct?
Yeah. Correct.
And what's up?
Yeah.
Wait, why am I?
Oh, I forgot we that messes with the.
Yeah,
Why am I in?
I forgot that messes up the order of things.
Legislator Snell was the only nay vote.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah, that's my bad. That's.
it should be,
Convention.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm glad we did it now and not later on down the line.
Yeah, make me look at the number.
Legislator Wolf, legislator Bella. And Waters. If you did not vote, raise your placard or hand.
Legislator Vella,
Yay.
Legislator Waters,
Yay.
Legislator Wolf.
Yay.
The motion has passed. Alright. Approval of agenda. Are there any motions to amend the agenda at this time?
Oh. I did want to motion for a discussion on potentially removing an agenda item just because it's so long. Just 5 minutes discussion. I was going to do a wheel with all the agenda items that were not essential, and if it lands on one, it's removed, but I forgot to do that. But
Is
yeah,
there a
I guess-
second?
No, I would like to go against that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Motion for
unnecessary.
discussion.
I
You
second
want-
legislator or chairperson Smith in going against that.
So shall we motion for a discussion?
There's no second.
Second in the motion.
So they made.
Is there a second to the motion?
Anyone want to discuss removing an item, just 5 minutes, be like, hey, it's a little long, is there anything that could be removed? That's what I propose.
There is a second to the motion.
Oh, there's a second.
Legislator Wolf.
Motion.
Legislator Wolf.
Well, so basically, there's a motion, it's been seconded and objected to, now you have to debate the motion.
Awesome.
Actually, I withdraw that, I withdraw conflict. Move to a vote, move to discussion.
Okay, there's been a motion to move to discussion. Shall we go into a 5 minute discussion? Alright, 5 minute discussion. The chair recognizes legislator Wolf.
I think, a good item for move, so we can get, because I think the budget is kind of, a document that deserves a lot of discussion and intent. And I think we can remove the approval of the commuter support chair, given that, that position is in dire need of being filled at this time.
The chair recognizes Chairperson Smith.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I would not be in favor of removing any pieces of legislation. Just because I think all of the pieces of legislation and of course the hearing format I have up there, which is I have to put on there as per the bylaws. All of those are pretty important. I would not like to see them go. I wish we could just get through the agenda. This feels like a waste of time. That I yield.
Legislator Brummer.
I was just going to say that I disagree with the idea that it would be better to remove an approval rather than some legislation. I think that the approvals allow us to put people in positions that allow us to start the work that makes tangible impact for the student body. And despite the fact that I think the resolutions and the bills that are not dire to be looked at are quite essential to the work that we do, they don't tangibly make an impact on the student body. And I think for that reason, I would personally be okay with tabling them for a different day. I yield.
Chair recognizes Speaker Moore.
All right, I'm just gonna basically say why I have all my approvals on today. I kind of wanted to have all my legislative chairships filled now, so that way, leading up into the future, especially going into next week when I'm training the whole legislator, I have all of my committees, the chairs filled for my legislature at least. So that way, everybody can join their committees leading up, and that way on the next upcoming agendas, we can then fill all these agendas, or fill all these committees, and then move into the work that we were planning on doing with those committees in general. It's just making it so we can get our work done now rather than pushing off in the future for no reason. So that is why I currently have all of the approvals on the agenda, and that is why I would like to keep them all. With that, I yield.
Recognize legislator Lindenface.
I will say, I have heard people complaining about, well, the first meeting, everyone was like, oh my God, this first meeting is gonna be forever because we got a million things. Then we removed half of them and pushed them this week. And then people have been like, oh my God, this meeting is gonna be so late, there's a million things. So I don't see an issue with pushing back. Honestly, I would say both resolutions. As a supporter of both resolutions, as someone who is firmly in favor of both resolutions, both have been passed before by this body. And deferring them a week is not going to materially impact us, especially since the authors of both are at the helm of power. They're already being acted upon right now. So this is not a material change. There is no issue with striking both items from the agenda.
Martino.
Martino. The chair recognizes.
I'll keep this quick because we talked. Basically, we've all seen the agenda. If we want to push something back, it's just going to come up on the agenda again. I think we should just get it over with. We've been elected for this. I yield.
The chair recognizes Chairperson Valdez.
Guys, the agenda is gonna look exactly like this for next week. So if we keep moving things for next meeting, we're just gonna do the same for the next two next meeting. So if you want to move something, please think about it very well, because it's just gonna look just as cool as this. We have a lot of approvals, we have a lot of things that the judiciary chair wants to approve, and we also have something else that your President Marcus Johnson wants to approve. So let's just please.
How much time is left on the discussion?
1 minute.
So that's it.
The chair
For that, I
recognizes legislator Lindenface.
Oh, I was just going to say, again, if this is work we're already doing, there is no benefit to passing the resolutions now if we've already committed to them in the past and all of our staff is committed to them and acting upon them. Deferring it 1 meeting, 2 meetings does nothing in effect. It really has no result. If this were my resolution, I'd say put it off.
Chair recognizes Chairperson.
Thank you very much. The tangible effect is as Steering Chair Valdez said and Legislator I'm forgetting Vincenzo's last name. As they both said, all of this stuff is just going to be was going to go onto the next agenda. I already took off 2 pieces of my legislation that originally was on this agenda to go up in 2 weeks at that. And I already wanted some approvals to go on this one, but held it off. It's just going to keep on happening over and over and over and over again. We just need to get through it and just need to get through the bulk of what we had at the beginning of the administration.
Okay, thank you.
What are we putting to a vote? We didn't.
To amend the,
To the motion to debate.
I withdrew my
All
motion.
right.
Still subjected to. Now we have to vote on the motion.
I withdrew my counter motion.
okay, so we
Rose
just,
didn't. So there still is an objection.
so we're voting to object to the.
No, we're voting to discuss.
Whether or not to discuss the agenda for the. Make sure you fix.
I don't want to discuss it.
We're just.
I know.
Motion.
You can withdraw your motion.
We're voting on your motion.
You can withdraw.
Just discuss, that was basically just discussion, so I withdraw my motion,
Yeah.
and I propose a motion to strike both resolutions from the agenda.
Counter motion to the second motion.
That will just lead to more discussion, we already discussed.
The vote.
If we.
Point of order, okay, chairperson recognizes legislator Lance, legislator Markowitz.
This is just in response to the previous discussion, but all I was gonna say is that we all know that the longer the meetings go on, the less engaged we get. And so it's really not fair to some candidates if we're taking a lot of time to ask a lot of questions and be thorough. And then other candidates that are running at the end, we're just trying to run through it as quickly as possible and they don't get to say everything or address every question or every question doesn't get asked. So for that reason, I would be in favor of, if the candidates are open to it, moving the commuter support chair vote and also the parliamentarian vote to future meetings, especially since the hours don't change. So nothing has changed there. Realistically, the people that are interested in doing that work can continue to start planning and looking more and more into that work since they're not getting any more hours, even if they were to get voted today.
Thank you, legislator Markowitz. Are there any actual motions at this time?
Did you record my motion to strike the 2 resolutions? Oh, motion to remove CR 6801 and CR 6802 from the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, the motion has been seconded by legislator Bummer. Oh, she also raised her.
There are.
It's pretty much.
Yeah.
Either one, I don't care.
Thank you. Okay.
There's objection.
Is there any objections to the motion?
Vote.
Okay. Table, and I'll put CR. Speaker DeVore,
Nay. That's right.
Chairperson Smith,
Nay.
legislator Bummer.
Yay.
Legislator,
Yes.
Voted nay.
I didn't hear.
legislator Fayette, Ete,
Nay.
legislator Lehman Pace,
Yay.
legislator Martino,
Nay.
legislator Krishandaro,
Nay.
legislator Snell.
Okay, so the vote is to table the 2 resolutions. So if you vote yay, you're in support of tabling them, or nay to not table. If I understand it correctly.
Yay to table.
That's a correct.
Nay.
Legislator Van Patten,
This.
Chairperson Valdez,
Nay.
Yes.
legislator Barris,
Nay.
legislator Ricky,
Nay.
Legislator Evazov,
Nay.
legislator Lunger.
Yay.
Yay.
Legislator Markowitz. Legislator Markowitz.
Yay.
Legislator Obra. Legislator Rosario.
Nay.
Legislator Serbu.
Nay.
Legislator Vela.
Nay.
Legislator Waters.
Nay.
Legislator Wolf.
Yay.
The motion has failed.
Such is life.
All right. Are there any other motions to amend the agenda at this time?
Point of order, a legislator joined in today.
Check participants, you don't need to go to that.
Legislator Snell, who was it that joined?
Danny just joined.
Hi. Yeah, sorry, I joined late.
Are you present or present in voting, legislator?
I'm present.
There are no other motions to amend the agenda. Can we go into a voice vote? Are there any nays at this time?
Nay.
Are there any yeas at this time?
Yay.
Yay.
Okay,
Yay.
the yeas
I
have,
just wanted to listen.
the agenda has been approved. As we have no guest speaker, we can move on to announcements. As we have no announcements, we can move on to business. Old business, OUSC budget and finances for approval presented by Marcus. You know,
Alrighty, people, given that we are already a half hour into this meeting, I'm gonna try to speed run this as quickly as I humanly possibly can. So the first thing we have is the compensation proposal as presented. If there are any questions, qualms, or concerns about it as viewed, legislator Lehman Pace.
I was just going to say, I know we removed the discretionary hour last week. Is there a chance that we have the room in the budget to add an extra hour to legislative majority leader? Because if they are meant to act as sort of like an assistant speaker, perhaps an extra hour could help with that.
So amazing that I asked the speaker this question a while ago.
Ask me to remove.
Let's see. Is there a motion to do so?
Yeah, motion, well, if there's room in the budget. I don't know if I'm motioning for something that we.
Motion to explore that option.
Seconded.
All they do is payroll. Let's just see. Let's just see.
That's true, that is all it is.
I don't like that number. I'd like it to be a little lower.
Okay.
Is there a? Is there?
Lower the speaker of the legislature's hours to 10 and raise the legislative majority leaders by 1.
Aw.
Aw.
Falling on. It's 1 hour.
The exploration has deemed that it is possible.
You know what, we're at it. What if we bump financial affair down to 4?
No.
No.
All right, it's fine. It's not. It's okay. That's.
Already doxed their hours.
We don't have to, that one was.
Are there any other requests or motions when it comes to the compensation plan?
Just to
Doing
confirm, we are going to have a marketing director this summer, correct?
Not this summer, but in the fall.
Gotcha, that's.
Same with executive platform. Both of those will be hired in the fall. All right, so here's the goody goods of the actual things that we're doing. So the GSC donation, it's required in the bylaws that we have it, hence it being there. Same with food pantry donation. The VSS and the DSS donations, those are new. We haven't done those in the past. They're ones I wanted to explore doing. I will note, I've talked with the DSS office. The donation is something they're willing to want, but they don't quite yet know what they want that to look like. So if you want, I'm willing to strike that for now, but I figure it easier to have the money already budgeted as opposed to waiting a month and then putting it back in. So I could take it out and then just wait a month to put it back in if you want me to, but I find it easier to have it here now. The Congressional Elections Fund, again, that's a bylaw thing. It requires us to budget for it, hence we are. The same with the donation to the Student Organic Farm, bylaw requirement, yes, it's there. The stamps, another bylaw requirement, and then bonding, which we just got the food waiver approved for. So Speaker DeVore can sleep happily for the first time in ages. And the discretionary fund that each presidential administration's had in their. Under internal affairs, we have the budget for name tags and desk plates. Yes, the new people will be getting name tags and desk plates. And one old person who didn't get. And you get name tags with them. That little magnetic ones, they look really cool. Yes, exactly. I'm telling this to the legislatures. I think they'd appreciate it more. There's someone check. Office supplies. This I got from last summer's budget. I talked with the former director of internal affairs. She told me this number was fine, so I kept it. Tech improvements. Now this, some of it covers like monitors and whatnot for the office. I've talked with the speaker about. Some of it will also cover, and I just actually spoke with Chris Reed, and it will help with our meeting setups. We're looking into going halfsies with the Oakland Center on getting more of those little gooseneck microphones that would be owned by Student Congress. So we would be able to use them for each of our meetings. So more people would have access to them. And you won't all have to come to the middle of the week to talk. Blue Books and Scantrons, we've been funding those for eons. I see no reason to stop now. Tabling supplies, orientation tabling is coming up. We'd like to have things to give out to people for that. The Director of Financial Affairs, it's mandated in the bylaws, they have $1,000 set aside in case we need to pursue alternative vendors that practice more sustainable practices, but they may cost a little more. This kind of just offsets that cost. Student advocacy, we've got Eats and Beats. The biggest event we put on every year. I'm hopeful that you will all be there because, why not? Hispanic Heritage Month. I need to talk more with the Dean of Students Office as to what that's going, and the CMI office. I think those are the groups that put it on last year to get a look at what that's gonna look like this year. But this is the amount we budgeted last year for it, so I went with the same number just to be on the safe side. And then the Free Menstrual Product Initiative, I got 500 set aside for reusable menstrual products. I actually just talked with someone in the OC because they need us to re-up our purchase for the ones in this building. The Sustainability Director, we just have the pollinator garden. Our bylaws mandate that we put money aside for that every semester. And I'm assuming as I hire one, that they will have things that they won't put in there. Another thing I don't think I adequately addressed in the compensation plan, I did find room in the budget for us to hire a sustainability director sooner than I thought. I don't know if I showed you all that, but it is up here. I changed the number of weeks that they'd be working. So we could hire one sooner as opposed to later, which I will reflect in the handshake application. And the legislative initiatives, I will let Speaker DeVore present this.
Right, come to the room and can you hear me here on the Zoom?
Oh, speak louder.
I closer.
All right. All right, kind of spoke on this a little bit last week, along with like some other people that have some of these initiatives, but overall, these are just the initiatives that you guys are all working on. So this is stuff that you guys all needed money for. I've asked you guys a couple times for this. So top of the list is course marking handouts. This was requested by Legislator Brummer. This would be handed out to, if I remember correctly, it would be handed out to professors, basically thanking them for making course markings for, or course materials free for their classes. Just a little thing that she wanted to do. Next thing, $150 to each task force, just in case those task forces need anything for any initiatives they're working on. Next is the Maximus in College event. It's put on by Legislator Markowitz every year. It's kind of just something, a little thing we do. Ask him if you have any more info about that. I don't really know too much about it, if I'm being totally honest. Last thing was the Welcome Week Round Net tournament. We're funding prizes for a joint spike ball tournament with the Round Net. I don't know if it's student org. With Round Net, it's just a fun event right at the end of the summer, getting new students involved. We're just funding prizes for that. That's all from me.
Are there any questions about what has been presented, Legislator Brummer?
I had two questions. The first one, Veteran Support Services is not institutionally funded, correct?
I do not know. To my knowledge, they fall under the Center for Multicultural Initiatives. So I'm led to believe that they might be, but I can't guarantee that. I will talk with Lisa, their coordinator, and I can connect you with her if you want me to explore more about that. Absolutely.
I was just interested, and then, obviously, I know Disability Support Services is also institutionally funded. I'm just slightly weary about that one because I'm curious as to what their budget is looking like and if they really truly need the extra student tuition money put into that. I just wanted to bring that up.
Go ahead.
Any idea of what that funding would be going for?
I'm in talks with their director. I have informed her that as a rule, any donation we make has to go towards something that is used to students. So just for them to keep in mind, she hasn't told me explicitly what they want. But as I said earlier, if you all would like, I'm willing to have it removed for now and revisit it later after I've had more talks with their director. That's more so up to y'all. I just had it in there because I know I'd spoken with Legislator Snell and she had mentioned it and I talked with them about it. But it's ultimately up to you all. So.
I mean, I'm incredibly supportive of collaboration between Disability Support Services. I would just like to have more of a concrete idea of what the money will be funded towards, knowing that they probably get a lot of institutional funding as is. So that's my personal concern with that.
If I may, I actually do have a bit more insight to how that donation would look.
I'll yield to Legislator Snell for that.
Rad. So yeah, a lot of the DSS, well, yes, they have a lot of institutional support. They help meet a lot of needs that the institution physically cannot address, such as there's very small doorway openings. While there's ramps, a lot of the doorways that have in and out of buildings have a little ledge that students with wheelchairs can't get over. So there's a lot of desks that students, again, who use mobility aids either can't navigate through because they're too close together in rooms that are too small, or they're just too low to the ground and cannot be raised. I know in the Math and Science Center in specific, there are some rooms that have the tables literally bolted to the ground with the chairs connected, so you can't navigate, say, a wheelchair in through them. Some of this money would go towards things to help ease up on that burden, such as, hey, you know what, we can pay for a lap desk or a set of lap desks that students can then just rent. So that way students with wheelchairs can go towards putting that on top of it to try and just even out the playing field. There is a lot of needs that they have that the institution doesn't have the funding to fix because of how great the problem is, or simply cannot even begin to conceptualize as an issue. With that, I yield.
I'm rocking with what y'all want to do on this one. I'm fine keeping it. If y'all want it gone, I'll get rid of it. Legislator Wolf.
I think it's best to, I think we need to best represent our intent and our what actions will we doing going forward, and if we have no idea of what this is going towards, or if they feel comfortable accepting it, or if this is we have a viable amount of money to, affect real change at the DSS, I think we should strike it, 'cause we can obviously reintroduce things at a later date. Especially once we know, like further down the line, what money we will be spending and won't be spending already in our budget, we might be able to give them an even more sizable donation if that's something we are interested in doing. Additionally, if you know anything about, contracting or just like building maintenance, $500 will cover like one piece of furniture. Like widening a doorway, that's at least $1,000 tops of like material and labor. Like widening a doorway is like at minimum like $1,000. I think that like we may not be the best avenue of funding for the DSS.
Legislator Snell, did you want to follow that up?
Yes, as I said, this money would not be going towards fully, quote unquote, fixing these problems because I recognize the sheer scale of money needed to address them is more than OUSC does have. However, OUSC can fund, say, currently we run on an app for students, an AI generated app for note taking, as you all know, because the position no longer goes to students, it goes to AI. $500 can fund at least 2 more students, I believe, getting that app, which is 2 less students who will just simply be up a creek without a paddle. $500 may not seem like a lot to you, but for students in wheelchairs, $500 can get you a set of lap desks, meaning yes, you will now be able to get in a classroom. And the university almost has an almost chronic issue of not having enough online classes to meet the need. I understand that $500, when it feels like, oh, we have no clue how we put this money towards, we have no clue how it'd be used. It looks like a lot and it looks like a waste. However, I would like everyone to recall that we are looking through our eyes and we are not feeling the impact of that money. So please keep that in mind when we vote on this. Thank you.
I'll yield to Legislator Martin Page before I ask my question.
I was going to say, I don't think that anyone has alleged it's a waste. It seemed to me that the concern was just, has DSS articulated anything at all that they were interested in us helping fund? I'm in support of leaving it in there. I think it's a good thing. Even if we don't know right now, it's good to have it for later, so we don't have to do a whole rigmarole of passing 2 bills. But I think that it was a bit of a mischaracterization of some of the concerns to say that people didn't want to have it in there at all. I think people just were interested to see how the money was going to be used or where the donation would be going if it was left in. Thank you.
I will pose 2 questions. Numero uno, would anyone, I'm certain there's committees that I could involve in this, but would it be helpful for you all if I CC you on my communications with the director of the DSS office so that we're more in tune with what it is they need so that we know what to help out with? Would that be helpful? I'm just asking just in general. And secondly, just a general show of hands, just so I know, since it's a friendly amendment, either way it goes, is there anyone who is actively requesting that we strike it from the budget now? So if there's enough support for it, and I will accept it as a friendly amendment and remove it, but I don't want to do that without hearing from you all with regard to that. This is all y'all, so I'm leaving it up to you. Is there anybody who wants me to remove it now and then just deal with it later? All right, I believe. Just wanted to make sure y'all, you had a say in that process. I don't want to do anything and then, be a problem later. I don't think I have much else to present on that front, so I will yield the floor to the chair for a vote, unless there be a motion.
Order, are we voting on an amendment to the executive office agenda or not?
Entire document.
Okay, so we're approving the entire budget.
Yeah, I was asking for a friendly amendment, so it wouldn't have to be like the whole thing again, but nobody wanted to make it.
Going into was it roll call voting for the summer budget. Speaker
Let me know
DeWar.
when you're ready to go. I'm gonna be in this meeting for decades.
Okay, 2 minutes, I'm really tired.
No problem.
Point of order. Legislator Markowitz, you are not muted.
Point of order, my bad.
Privilege, can Legislator Markowitz leave the microphone on so we can catch more chatter?
Chairperson Smith.
Yay.
Legislator Brummer. Okay. Legislator Fayette Ete.
Yay.
I'm getting it, guys.
Legislator Lemon Pace.
Yay.
Legislator Martino.
Yay.
Legislator Prashandaro.
Yay.
Legislator Snell.
Yay.
Legislator Van Patten.
Yay.
Legislator Chairperson Valdez. Legislator Barris.
Yay.
Legislator Jerswicki.
Yay.
Legislator Iveza.
Check the chat.
Legislator Lunger.
Yay.
Legislator Maku.
Yay.
Legislator Markowitz.
Yay. I said yay, by the way.
Okay.
I put it in the chat, sorry.
Yay.
Legislator Obra.
Yay.
Legislator Rosario.
Yay.
Legislator Serbu.
Yay.
Legislator Vella.
Yay.
Legislator Waters.
Yay.
Legislator Wolf. Yay. Great. The budget has passed.
For all of our pupils, just been cool.
Moving on to new business, approval of the parliamentarian presented by Speaker DeVore.
All right. So first, I just wanted to say why the parliamentarian is first on the agenda. That's actually one of 2 of our required positions for the legislature required by Robert's rules. So along with the judiciary chair, we have to have a parliamentarian at every meeting. And as you can see from this meeting in particular, parliamentary procedure already has, having a parliamentarian helps with that. So regarding the 2 coming up, we got 2 new people, one of them being recently elected. We got Legislator Vella and Legislator Maku. I will yield the floor to the both of them, let them go talk about themselves a little bit. Well, first on the agenda, Legislator Vella.
All right. Thank you. So you just want me to introduce myself. So I just got elected. I believe I've been presented up here because I have experience that would help me out in being a parliamentarian. For 2 years, I've been on Oakland University's Model UN team. So on 4 separate occasions, I've been locked in a room for 3 days just using parliamentary procedure. So I have a pretty good handle on standard rules of procedure. I also have my own copy of Robert's rules that I've been reading through lately to be more familiar with them. I feel like I have a good handle on the rules. And if I were to be parliamentarian, I just hope to help streamline the meetings because again, we're an hour in and we're just starting this, and I know people were talking about going fast, and like timing issues with other meetings. So I just want to help out with that. Thank you. I yield.
That's the microphone, so just speak.
They should be able to hear you.
Yeah.
Make sure you speak loud and clear.
Okay, so I'm legislator Maku. I'm currently a junior. I've been a legislator since last term. I think it was early March. So I'm gonna go over three things of why I think I should be parliamentarian. One is independence, one is experience on campus, and another one is my goals. First of all, I'm independent. So I'm not part of any clique on campus. So you can trust that I won't have any subconscious biases that might impact my role in enforcing Robert's rules. This independence will also make people hopefully more likely to approach me with questions. And it will just make me maybe more appear more approachable. I'm willing to bet that nobody really knows my political philosophy unless I've directly told you. And that's because I try to not let my political philosophy affect me too much in at this local level. My experience on campus has been helpful with me cooperating with different people. So I've been a legislator since early March. This time as legislator has helped me out. I think it makes me a good fit for parliamentarian because I've witnessed some of the problems that we've had as a Congress. Like there's been a lot of outbursts with people not really knowing what to say. Like sometimes people misuse like point of order, point of privilege. I've also noticed outbursts in like side conversations make meetings drag on a bit too long. I've also been a teaching assistant for HC 1000. I've been a full-time student. I've managed to sustain a 4.0 GPA, so that's just to say that I can balance my time. Some other things I've done on Student Congress so far. I've been here since early March, and I've already participated in the Earth Day Fair, the trail opening to celebrate the sustainability committee's efforts and Director Skinner's efforts. I've been part of exam cram tabling. I was also at the neurodivergent workshop to table and to help take things back. The award ceremony as well. So also since signing my paperwork last term to join Congress, I have never missed a general body meeting or a legislator meeting. That's important because the parliamentarian, one of the most important things they can do is actually show up to meetings, and I've proven so far that I can do that. I do want to talk about some of my goals. I would like to be stricter at preventing side conversations and outbursts. I think enforcing the rules more strictly would make Congress appear more professional, which would be good because it would make people more likely to attend meetings. I also hope they would make meetings a bit quicker, which means people would be more likely to go to them in the gallery. Another goal is to be apolitical. Again, I don't think I will have too many subconscious biases since I don't think anybody here hates me. Not that people hate legislator Bella. So another goal, bylaws require me to teach Robert's rule at a legislator meeting at least once per year. I'd like to do this a bit more than once a year, maybe once per semester. Because again, I see people misusing certain phrases. I see that pretty regularly. This would also reduce the amount of people who just shout things out now, not knowing what to preface it with. And finally, I'd also like to make myself available for one-on-one meetings for legislators, especially new legislators that have questions. And I would also like to work with Speaker DeVore to potentially have meetings with the new legislators that get appointed. Because when I first joined, I wasn't too familiar with Robert's rules. Since then, I have studied them. I tried saving the entire 1,100 word handout to my computer. It won't save because of how long it is, but luckily I can pull it up whenever I want, because it's on drive. I've reviewed the introduction to parliamentary procedures quite often since I've been on the legislature. I've also reviewed a few different colleges posts materials for parliamentary procedure and about Robert's rules, different summaries. I've reviewed those pretty regularly as well. That's all.
Are there any questions at this time for either candidate? Speaker DeBoer?
I'll just ask Legislator Vella, because Legislator Maku said a little bit on it. What? Do I need to?
Yeah.
All right. Just for Legislator Vella, just because Legislator Maku spoke a little bit on it, what are your plans on like streamlining, like how to streamline meetings a little bit more and overall being a little bit more stricter on parliamentary procedure during meetings?
Right. So part of my thoughts on that. So I actually read the section today on the parliamentarian's duties in my copy of Robert's Rules. I was planning on corresponding with the president during meetings. Because I'm online, that would probably be through text, but during the semester, that would probably just be sitting near them. And in terms of streamlining, probably advising on I was thinking of advising people on motion. Actually, wait, hold on. Let me get this thought together before it comes out of my mouth. Apologies. I just think if I have a good handle on all of the motions and all the rules of procedure, and I can like recall them on the fly, I'd be able to help advise on making sure the meetings run smoothly. That's all.
The chair recognizes Legislator Snell.
Hi, so just a quick question, because again, Legislator Maku already brought it up. Legislator Vella, I'm aware that you've come into this knowing quite a few of the legislators, although it's very hard not to. How do you plan to address your own internalized biases and make sure you can administer parliamentary procedure fairly and equitably to all parties? Thank you.
So on a personal level, I try not to be cliquey. I try to hold my friends accountable when they're like not doing good things during the meetings, or just in general, I mean. And another part is that under the duties of the parliamentarian, it shows that the parliamentarian does have some privileges as a legislator taken away. I'm not sure if student Congress follows these, but if they do, I'd be willing to go through with that. Thank you.
Are there any other questions at this time? All right, seeing none, do you want to leave the room to go into discussion?
Motion. I have a motion. Don't worry.
Chairperson Smith?
Motion to do a vote via secret ballot. Oh, well, we can still motion that.
I second.
Not to do it, but like to have that be the voting method.
Yeah, who's gonna defend that?
Point of order. He asked Legislator Vella to leave the call, so.
Well, put them in the
Or put them
waiting.
in the waiting.
Yeah.
For that.
Go to the members, the participants.
This one?
Yes. No, click on it. Then go to Bella. Oh, did they already leave?
They did.
Dang.
Yeah,
Okay.
lovely.
No, I'm still in here.
Oh, what? Oh,
Um,
3, yep. Voila.
Bella, are you still
No.
the chairperson recognizes Legislator Warren.
Thank you. It's discussion to start, right? Just,
Yes.
okay. I think we have two very strong candidates. I think that's gonna be something I say a lot, this meeting, but, personally, I'm leaning towards Legislator Vella, just due to the MUN experience. I mean, I had the privilege of sitting in on a, MUN, meeting, and they take it seriously. They know what they're doing, and, I mean, Legislator Vella said it themselves when they said that they were locked in a room for like 3 days doing nothing but parliamentary procedure. I'm leaning towards legislator Vela, but I think we have two very strong candidates. So yeah, I yield the point.
Chairperson recognizes legislator Snell.
Sorry, I just didn't hear you. It took a minute. Honestly, I'm leaning towards legislator Maku simply because, as he pointed out, he holds no biases and he's not been in Congress long enough to really build a connection with anyone. Legislator Vela, while they are a strong candidate in their own right, I do not have full faith that they will be completely unbiased in administering parliamentary procedure. And I recognize that they have done Model UN. And again, they are a strong candidate, but I don't have faith in their ability to be both a strong candidate and unbiased, something that is very crucial in the administration of the University Student Congress. With that, I yield.
The chairperson recognizes Chairperson Smith.
Thank you very much. I would like to voice my support for Legislator Vela becoming parliamentarian. I am also part of the OU Model UN team. I know how rigorous that the parliamentary procedure of Model UN can be, both in our conference in Toronto in February, being there for 3 days in committee, 10 hours a day. And then, of course, in the conference that we host for high schoolers, where I would like to point out that Legislator Vela was a chair at for 2 days. And I do believe I'd like to address that when it comes to parliamentary procedure and enforcing parliamentary procedure in OUSC meetings. I personally don't believe bias is a major issue, mostly just because the ability to shut up somebody you know and somebody you're friends with when they're making an incorrect motion or just making a motion that's out of order, something that's just excuse my language because I can't think of a better word, something that's quite frankly dumb. I believe that to be very easy, and knowing Legislator Vela, I believe they have the capabilities to do that. With that, yield.
The chairperson recognizes legislator Rosario.
I only met Legislator Maku when he joined back in March, but I have during the last months of the last semester run into him in a number of occasions, and every single time we'll have hour-long conversations on the structure of student congress and ways to improve it. He's always reading the Constitution and our various bylaws to make sure he stays up to date on everything. He really does his homework, and I don't think there's a better person for this position than Michael. With that, I yield.
The chairperson recognizes legislator Martina.
So as most of you know, I've only attended a couple meetings, and in that time, I made quite a scene out of myself, interrupting you guys. Legislator Maku has helped me to understand the processes of proceedings, and has helped me improve. And he's shown a lot of effort towards just making sure the process is clear for everyone who I've seen him talk to. In the same way Legislator Rosario was just talking about. It's that for that reason I plan to vote for him. Thank you. I see my time.
The chairperson
Sorry, going
recognizes.
crazy.
I don't know, like, how to express exactly what I'm thinking, but if you have had any personal experience with legislator, Bella, that, he can be quite, emotionally attached and like somewhat socially distanced. I think, he has the great ability to really lock in and focus on very niche and specific, like things like, he has like an incredible ability to really rigorously go through something. He can really form encyclopedic knowledge on things, and I'm overall very impressed by his ability to pursue an interest to such an extreme ability, and I think he's incredibly capable. In terms of legislator Maku, I think compared, if it was Maku versus any other person in the legislature, it'd be 100% I would be voting for Maku. And I think I the simply the one thing that sways me the most is knowing Bella's commitment to really understanding things that they pursue and their experience with it on the UN. I yield the floor.
Chairperson recognizes legislator Christian Darrow.
I think we have two very good candidates here. I have nothing negative to say about either one of them. But knowing legislator Vella, I have seen how diligent they can be on any topic that they are interested in. And they're extremely knowledgeable when they dive deep into something. You'll make sure.
Chairperson recognizes legislator Lunder.
I think both candidates are great, but I support legislator McCoo. He has he has a lot of good key initiatives, and he started working on these initiatives right after he got approved as a legislator last administration, and he is involved with the campus a lot. And I actually worked with him volunteering for Autism Family Fun Day, and I've worked with him volunteering for other events. I think he's done a great job as a legislator and volunteer work and stuff outside of OUSC. Since he's so involved on campus, I think he'd be an excellent candidate, and he's non-biased. I think he'd be great for this position.
Chairperson recognizes legislator Brummer.
So I just wanted to point out Legislator Maku. I do not have the privilege of knowing Legislator Vella as well as the other members of the legislature. But at least when it comes to Legislator Maku, I can say that he is most definitely one of the most determined and adamant legislators that I have seen come through Student Congress. Immediately, he insisted on joining about a month before elections because he did not want to miss 4 weeks of Student Congress. Aside from that, I think that he would make a great candidate for parliamentarian. I'm sure Legislator Vella would also be able to, fill the role and do the position particularly as well. But because I personally know Legislator Maku, I will be supporting him. I will also say that, and I would like to provide grace with this because I'm sure there's other circumstances I may not be aware of, but with parliamentarian, I think it's essential that that person is in person at our meetings in order to effectively control anything that gets out of hand. And with Legislator Vella being virtual for their approval, that does slightly give me some concern as to whether or not they may be virtual in the future and whether that may impact their ability to properly enforce Robert's rules. But with that, I yield.
Chairperson recognizes Speaker.
All right, I'm just gonna talk a little bit on my personal experience with Legislator Vella since he came up to me and expressing interest in parliamentarian. I first talked to him about it literally the night after the election results were announced that he was confirmed to be a legislator. And since then, pretty much immediately after, got a copy of Robert's rules. Has asked me a couple times. I've had numerous discussions with him on parliamentary procedure. He's proven his dedication more than possible, honestly, because even since being elected, has dedicated himself to a role he hasn't even been able to serve in. So that's my personal experience with Legislator Vella, and I will be supporting him personally. He's a very strong and dedicated candidate. That I yield.
Chairperson recognizes legislator Markowitz.
I just want to say a quick thing about Legislator Maku. So I haven't gotten to really work with Legislator Vella yet. But one thing that I look for in the chairperson position is somebody who has a little bit more experience of student congress, because I think it's a good stepping stone. And so typically I try to stray away from people that just joined student congress, because I kind of want to see their track record first, what kind of initiatives they put forward, what they work on. And then, after 2 or 3 months or something of experience, ideally, then, if they're really ambitious, moving into one of those roles. I will say that unlike just about anybody that I've worked with in Student Congress, Legislator Maku came to me immediately on getting feedback for his initiative.
Legislator Markowitz, discussion time has ended. Is there a motion to extend?
Motion to extend 10 minutes, that for people amenable to 10?
5.
5?
Yes,
Okay.
5 minutes.
I'll second.
All right, motion to extend. You may proceed.
Legislator Markle?
Thank you. And so, yeah, he presented when he was initially running on a bunch of initiatives, and he's really tried to follow through on as many of those initiatives as he can, or at least get feedback on them, including one of his surveys that he's working on. So I have a lot of respect for that, and I think that he's a great example of somebody that's been in Student Congress for long enough to show that even though they're still relatively new, that it would be appropriate for them to move up to the next level.
Chairperson recognizes legislator Langus.
I'll be quick. As someone who's known Legislator Bella longer than most of the people that know Legislator Bella, I can confidently say there are a lot of times where Legislator Bella has shut me down, been like, no, stop it, don't, or like hit me on the shoulder, got me to stop. And if he's able to do that to me, he can do it to anybody. And I don't doubt that Legislator Bella is able to do that online because he is loud, proud, and outspoken. The fact that even before the election, when I was like, oh, Bella, you should join Student Congress, and he heard there was a parliamentarian role, he was in. They were all about it. They have bought their own Robert's Rules Guide. And also, I do want to say, as a former parliamentarian, and as somebody who kind of acted as a parliamentarian a little bit last time around, and a bane obstructor, somebody like, I need someone who I know is able to shut down dilatory discussion. I mean, I get dilatory, other people get dilatory. You remember last year, half the time we'd have to stop the crosstalk or people being on their phones in the middle of an explanation of a bill. And I know that Bella can do that online or in person. I will also say, Legislator Bella lives like up basically in Lapeer County. Oh no, way past Romeo.
No, or.
I know, that's why I'm saying basically in Lapeer County, because people don't know what that is. Basically in Lapeer County, he can't drive and there's no one in his family who's able to really get him here, but I have full confidence that he can shut people down online if he needs to. He's knowledgeable. I also think the discussion about bias is a little unfair because to insinuate someone has no bias is just, that's not true, that's not correct. No one can be completely unbiased. I think that it's a positive that Legislator Bella recognized his biases and is working to counter them. I think that that's a strength, not a weakness. Additionally, the parliamentarian role is just about being able to know the rules and command the room. It's not about what initiatives you're working on. It's not about what you're doing in Student Congress. It's about how you are able to make sure that we are staying on topic during our meetings. And for that reason, I think Bella all the way. But Maku's good too. I don't hate him. I really like the guy. I just haven't seen forever. I don't want to get it misconstrued. I know I was singing Bella's praises.
Okay, chairperson recognizes legislator Snell.
I just wanted to point out that again, I know Legislator Bella, not as much as others in the room. I don't have any qualms with them. However, Legislator Maku knows Student Congress. And while I recognize that Legislator Bella does know Robert's rules, Model UN is not Student Congress. We need someone who can not only know Robert's rules, but know how Congress needs to work in order to function. And Model UN does not, through what I recognize, work the same as Student Congress. With that, I yield.
Chairperson recognizes legislator Bayette Ete.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to say that my decision has been very back and forth. However, I definitely am going to solidify my vote for Legislator Bella. Not saying that there aren't any good aspects of Maku being the parliamentarian, but I feel like kind of to rebuke what was said by Legislator Snell, I think just because they used what was it? The activities that they're doing that where they use parliamentarian rules, that doesn't mean they necessarily don't know anything about Student Congress or how it works or how it should work. And additionally, to kind of go back to what Legislator Broomer was saying, I do see the benefit of Maku being in person. However, the fact that Legislator Vela cannot be in person should not prohibit them from being in this position if they can adequately do it online. And with that, I yield.
Chairperson recognizes legislator Markowitz.
Sorry, my hand was up from before.
is your hand also up from the floor? Legislator Longer, my bad.
I do agree with that because I was parliamentarian last administration and I did a lot of work online. I was only on campus once a week, and I was able to I was able to do all the duties as parliamentarian and plan the parliamentary workshop. I made sure Robert's Rule of Orders were followed during the meetings. So whether you could be on campus or virtual, that should not dictate for this position or any position in the legislature, for my opinion. With that, I yield the floor.
The discussion time is up. Would there be another motion to?
Motion to expend by another 5 minutes, just because it does seem like there's discussion.
Seconded.
Calendar. Why do we? Chairperson recognizes Legislator Wolf.
I've known Bella for quite a long time, and something that that I think is a very notable quality of Legislator Bella is that they can be, they aren't the warmest person. They aren't going to show they don't show a lot of affection for people, and I think that they also definitely can recognize their bias. I think just simply knowing Ethan Bella doesn't get you any extra regard in his book. I think he's definitely will be more concerned with laser focused on the technical aspect of this position. They have an incredible ability to be incredibly precise and accurate on matters.
The chairperson recognizes Chairperson.
Thank you very much. I would like to go against something Legislator Snell mentioned, that that Model UN is not student Congress, and I would like to agree, it's not. It's more intense. It's much more exhausting. It includes way more parliamentary procedure. It's overall a lot harder to enforce. I wouldn't say it's that much. It's harder to keep up consistent parliamentary procedure in Model UN, and Legislator Vela has proven their ability at that. Legislator Vela has talked with me personally about how student Congress parliamentary procedure is different and what exact ways are we more lax and that sort of thing. And I will like to speak to Legislator Vela's dedication that, and almost immediately after learning that the parliamentarian role was a thing, they bought a copy of Robert's Rules, as others have said, but they also read up on the bylaws a very fair amount. And as a judiciary chair who loves the bylaws, I like that a lot. With that, I yield.
Chairperson recognizes Legislator Lamface.
And I'll actually be quick. I did want to say, I've seen Legislator Vela in meetings unpaid before he was even in student Congress. Sometimes he would join online, sometimes he was in the audience. Also, I've seen them in the office, and again, I don't mean this as a slight to Legislator Maku, more than I've seen Legislator Maku in the office. I've seen, and not everybody can be in the office all the time, but I think the idea that Legislator Vela hasn't been around is a little bit of a misconstrual. But yeah, I think both are qualified, but I trust Legislator Vela's hands a little bit more, especially because they have already recognized the differences in parliamentary procedure between Model UN and student Congress. Thank you.
Is there any more points of discussion? Alrighty,
Oh, this is, I was gonna motion to recess for the secret ballot.
Alrighty, is there a second?
Second. Wait. It to be 5 minutes. 5-minute recess.
All right.
Yeah.
And the ballot will be sent out. Yippee. Student Congress meeting forever. Midnight.
4-hour meeting. 4-hour meeting.
Oh, yeah, no, I was gonna give it water.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Michael. Sorry.
I knew we would have this much discussion. And this one wasn't even my fault. I should.
We did it till we were already like 2 hours.
20-minute discussion on how to make it.
Oh,
I will be bringing up.
It was fun table again.
Do a vote. I didn't. That's why I was like.
Yeah.
Mark, did you send out the ballot?
I did, should have notified you that I did.
Oh my God. Mark.
Where were they?
Yeah, was it email again?
Was it the same one?
It's not a.
Don't see it.
I'm also not seeing it. Maybe it went to spam.
Oh, maybe it did.
Yeah, let me check my spam.
Yep, it's spam. It's in spam. Check your spam.
Oh.
Everyone online, check your spam.
I reported not spam, so hopefully.
Wait, I don't know. Where's Spam? There it is.
This will be an interesting one.
Yeah.
See how it goes. I don't want to. I. Oh, sorry. Because that's how you, no, that's how you're supposed to do it. If somebody's talking to someone, you're not supposed to call them. I like.
You're supposed to like. As a try.
Yeah.
I love it when my click is too high.
Oh. So
I'll
yeah.
just.
Oh, I felt that. Oh, girl. Oh, yeah.
I could have objected. I don't know.
That's fine. I was about to say.
You would have objected.
An amazing.
No, that's why mine didn't get approved.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Wow, you said that, didn't you?
I did say wow.
Why mine wasn't approved at first. That makes so much sense.
What is that?
My work, I signed variants.
Oh.
In the middle of debating.
I have heard of it.
Well, because it's Mario, they both start with the same 5 letters.
Are they?
Was more results.
I work.
Yeah. Did, Nia set a timer? Set it for another 3. Check your spam. Or was it my spam?
Yeah, it was in my spam, which it shouldn't be.
For those online, make sure you check your spam folder. It might have been sent to you there as opposed to your regular inbox. And then mark it not spam.
I'm retired. Meeting forever, meeting forever.
Meeting till the
Guys, meeting for 20 minutes, discuss meetings, make the meeting shorter, and then not make it shorter.
Yes, my favorite. I'm genuinely enjoying watching with that. I really like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought, you asked about like watching the show earlier, like, did you forget we were watching?
Oh, I did.
What are you looking?
Hey, you can get back in time.
Fresh, like different campaign.
Sorry for committing fraud.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Intended be yours.
Mary, what are your thoughts right now on overall?
My thoughts.
Because at this point, it's basically too late.
Didn't you enjoy discussing for 20 minutes making the meeting?
Put in another request. That's fine. And I know that.
Oh.
Still feelings and.
I was looking for a particular.
Yeah.
I was working on meeting in general, but yeah, but.
Like, I want to believe that all positions are capable of being also virtually important person. Are they as effective?
I saw you, Jen. I discussed with you, Jen.
That's my only concern.
I mean, I'm not gonna be upset either way. I mean, I still don't.
I really need to be on the train because I know how much stuff gets out of it.
Oh, yeah.
That hurts me more than when I was chairing a meeting and there'd be side conversations.
I mean, I think we know,
I've heard professional.
Yeah.
A lot of discussion, I'm assuming?
yeah, a lot of discussion. My approval will have that one.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good sign.
Yeah, people are talking about it. Yeah, I mean, that's how it works. I think we have both you and.
Yeah.
Blog or like when I'm actively.
So what I do, say like, you come here, I like immediately clock in as soon as they get to the OC. And then whatever time you actually do, record in your time.
I did not put a time.
Yeah, you'll have to talk to Nia about that. Looks like a quick one you can share with her.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm probably not gonna be expected from the start actually doing anything around. Or,
There's a requirement 1 hour per week, which is just this meeting. Yeah.
I just.
Okay, after the meeting, I will show you how to come in.
I don't, I want to hear me about this,
Yeah, because I made a whole group chat on Discord because that's where people
yeah, I
respond.
don't have Discord. I'll get it.
Yes, that's so.
Not having Discord.
I have enough.
That's okay.
I know.
Oh, Vince, make sure you vote.
Yeah. Sorry.
It took a minute, folder.
I have no connection right now, it's not coming through. I can, yeah, I'm having problems, but just, I can write it down and I can pass it to you.
Just include that in the vote total, I guess.
That works.
Oh, in student Congress.
When he likes.
I think
Feeling
that's a very.
Wait, I can share until she's back.
Gosh, Clover.
How do you know Nora?
It's trying to think like when I died,
Very funny.
yeah, I know, right? I think like they're wild.
She's in my class, right? When you were.
Yeah.
I work.
My job hires 2 weeks ahead.
And I have.
I don't know the guy, but sure.
I gotta ignore his word, gotta do it. Oh, I met her, at this like, jazz box. Yeah.
Yeah, I love those things.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I have one more right away.
Sure.
Ready.
It's not that good, but just, yeah.
Like, do you live?
Yeah, back over. So everyone's in the room.
So.
Double back in order and we'll win.
Crap, I call this meeting back to order at 6:35 PM.
How do we talk about?
They come in after this.
Waiting for the vote total for President.
He's just in the waiting room, so let him.
Because I've just been listening to the whole thing.
Just kick him from the meeting.
Please try to.
The Bella. Wait, there's no one.
So.
You're after.
All right, I will now announce the vote total for the approval of the parliamentarian.
Should we gavel?
With 13 votes, legislator Bella has passed and is now the parliamentarian. The vote total was 13-9.
Is Bella brought back in for that? Maybe we should inform Bella of that.
Yeah, somebody should go tell Bella about that.
All right, congratulations, new parliamentarian Bella.
Back to. I just wanna make sure that we're waiting, because we were able to go out there and be like, let's.
Got my pen back.
The vote's ready.
Thank you.
Congratulations, parliamentarian. Moving on to the next agenda item, approval of the majority leader presented by Supervisor Moore.
Okay. So I'm gonna say the exact opposite thing I said for parliamentarian, because we got two old heads in the building coming up for majority leader. So we got Legislator Brummer and Legislator Lugner coming up. Again, I'm just gonna let them speak for themselves. With that, we'll start with Legislator Brummer.
Great. I will make it quick, I promise. Good evening, esteemed members of the legislature. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Marion Brummer, and I have served as a member of Student Congress since January of 2024. In my time as a member of Student Congress, I have served as a legislator, parliamentarian, and formerly the vice president. In these positions, I have worked to advocate for the robust implementation of course markings across the state, mental health through the addition of a caseworker to the counseling center, and solutions to food insecurity in collaboration with Swipe Out Hunger, in addition to much more. Through the many initiatives, bills, and resolutions I have pursued in my time serving the student body, I have gained a thorough understanding of what this organization's capabilities are and the ways in which to effectively execute pursuits that have a tangible impact on students and our campus. I am well networked with many administrators across campus and have built positive relationships with them that I hope to soon share with this body's legislators to help them achieve the goals that drove them to join Student Congress in the first place. In my former role as Vice President, I chose to meet with every legislator to provide supplemental assistance with anything they were interested in pursuing for that semester. In my experience, many new legislators join Student Congress with many ideas of ways to improve life for students in our campus, but often lack the full understanding of this organization's functions to execute their ideas as productively as possible. With this being said, I look forward to collaborating with Speaker DeVore to assist with legislator one-on-ones and provide my resources and insight to the legislature's pursuits. I pride myself on being an approachable and professional member of Student Congress, and I hope to be a welcoming majority leader that all legislators feel comfortable approaching with questions and looking for advice. In my time as a member of Student Congress, the role of majority leader has been severely underutilized in supporting the legislature and its pursuits. If approved by the legislature, I hope to expand the role that the majority leader plays for both the legislature in its entirety and the speaker. So some examples of this is that I would like to assist the parliamentarian in setting up Robert's Rules workshops, and I would also like to see a legislation workshop as well, similar to what we did last year. The success of this organization is my utmost priority, and that success can only come from legislators that are adequately supported and encouraged by this body's leadership. If approved by the legislature, I commit to following through on the promises I have made in this speech. And in addition to upholding the core values this organization is grounded in. Is there any questions?
Well, there you go.
Go with legislator Lunger.
Legislator Lunger?
I have been an OUSC legislator since winter 2024 semester. During winter 2024 semester, under the Faruqi-Ferguson administration, I wrote several pieces of sustainability legislation, including the funding of the pollinator garden equipment, recycling infrastructure around campus, an indoor plant wall in the Oakland Center, and a worm composting system for the organic farm. I supported several key initiatives at OU during the Faruqi-Ferguson administration as legislator, including mental health, the ACMI, sustainability, cultural diversity, and food security. Under the Garcia-Brummer administration, I sponsored and supported several pieces of legislation regarding mental health, environmental sustainability, and food security. I joined the campus food committee and attended every campus food meeting throughout the fall 2024 and winter of 2025 semesters. One of the most essential bills that I wrote last administration was for the funding of a pollinator garden near the Honors College. I started out as a legislator during the Garcia-Brummer administration and became parliamentarian in fall of 2024. As parliamentarian, I made sure Robert's Rules of Orders were followed during general body meetings and legislature meetings. I also wrote a resolution to add more responsibilities to the parliamentarian position, including creating a parliamentary workshop every year and creating a parliamentary committee for legislators to join. I collaborated with the legislature and e-board members last administration to plan several OUSC events, including Neurodivergence Acceptance Week, Parliamentary Procedure Workshop, the Live Owl event, and the Earth Month Art Fair. I believe I have done excellent work as a legislator and parliamentarian last administration and feel confident that I'd be a great candidate for the majority leader position. I would like a larger role in the OUSC legislature so I can become more involved. I look forward to participating in the legislative one-on-ones and helping Speaker DeVore with the perspective process. I also look forward to assisting the judiciary chair and the parliamentarian with the parliamentarian workshop. And I also believe there should be one every semester. With that, I thank you. This is my speech.
Are there any questions at this time for either candidate? The chairperson recognizes legislator Lynch Face.
To both candidates, how have you worked with Speaker DeVore in the past, and how do you see yourself working with her in the future since the roles are so intertwined?
Yeah, So I can go ahead and start off. So I have been working with Speaker DeVore for what, like a year and a half now, I think, through College Democrats, because we're both on the executive board for that club. So we get along quite well. And I know that I can work productively with her. And I know, we've also been very involved and discussed a lot within Student Congress. So in terms of being able to work together collaboratively, I have no concerns about us being able to be as productive as possible.
I have worked with I've been working with Speaker DeVore in Student Congress since fall of 2024. I don't know her outside of Student Congress, and I didn't work with her in any organizations outside of OUSC previously. But I feel we could collaborate and we could work together with the prospective legislator process and legislature meetings. And we have collaborated in Student Congress last administration.
Are there any other questions? Alrighty, well, let's get into the motion.
Oh, wait, hammer.
And go.
Let's do one.
Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot.
Good flag to President Johnson.
Agreed.
We have any?
Agreed.
The chair recognizes legislator.
Yeah, I just have a question on
Wait, what's your name?
overall.
Overall, okay.
I just have a question on what's the role of the majority leader, like what job do they have?
President.
The inaugural, we're all happy. So I've previously served as the majority leader, as has legislator Lane. Both served as the majority leader is designed as a support role for the speaker. So oftentimes they end up taking on things that the speaker doesn't have the time to take on. What tends to happen is, so the speaker is responsible for not only the prospective process, but prospective legislators that come in, but also helping current legislators with their initiatives. So sometimes the speaker may be a little bit busy with one part, so the majority leader has to take on the other part just to help lighten the workload. At least that's how I did it. I can't speak.
And with that, like I have comments, as someone who doesn't know either of them very well, or at all, I did feel like that Broomer's resume is would be a more impressive and more just has more weight to it than legislative letters that I
Chair recognizes Speaker DeVore.
All right, well, recognizing what President Johnson said about what the majority leader is, I feel like I should be the one to speak on, who I would prefer for, since they are working very closely with me. With that, I will say that I prefer Legislator Brummer, seeing as I have worked with her extensively on numerous other organizations along within Student Congress. She's been a great advisor to me. I've also worked with her on our newest initiatives in the past, and I'm just gonna say that I support Legislator Brummer for majority leader.
Well, the chair recognizes Chairperson Moses.
I think they were both very good. I just would lean more towards legislator Brummer because she has worked with the speaker who used to be President Johnson. And she has a great grasp already on almost every single role that exists in OUSC. So yeah, I support that too.
The chair recognizes legislator one.
Thank you. I would just like to echo a lot of the sentiment that's been being said by many of the people in this room. I think Legislator Brummer has got one of the most impressive records of anyone in this room, with her being the former vice president, with all the initiatives she's worked on. And I feel that she will do such a great job. I am fully behind Legislator Brummer.
The chairperson recognizes legislator Lemon Pace.
I did just want to say that we should be mindful of both candidates' past roles in student Congress. You know, legislator Lunger was the parliamentarian last year. Legislator Brummer ascended to the vice presidency after only like a couple of months in Congress, and she took to the role pretty quick. So I think it's important to think about job performance in past roles, to think about how duties were handled, how timing was, and who we think is best at getting the job done and being flexible about it. I remember Marion was pretty flexible about what duties were assigned to her and how she was able to delegate. And that is the name of the game for legislative majority leader. It's basically, you need to be a jack of all trades. You gotta be ready for any task thrown at you. And I think Marion can do that.
Chairperson recognizes Chairperson Smith.
Thank you very much. First, I would like to say, for this topic and the rest coming up, if you have something to say that's already been said, don't say it. There's no need. Let's not waste time. And also, I want to say something that hasn't been said about legislator Brummer. I support her for one, and I have known her for about 2 years now. I've worked with her in a professional capacity for a very long time. First outside of student Congress, and now and inside for about as long as I've been in student Congress, and I'm seen as one of the older members, unfortunately. And I want to say on a personal level, Legislator Brummer is by far one of the easiest people to work with, and she is absolutely excellent at helping each individual legislator take their ideas and bring them into fruition in such a meaningful and impactful way for students. And she cares. She cares about every person in this room, and she'll show that. And I don't think in my role as judiciary for the past year, I would have been nearly as successful without her support, without her help, and without her knowledge. Without a yield.
Chairperson recognizes President Johnson.
To circle back to legislator Obrig's question, I forgot something. A precedent I did set is that an unofficial responsibility of the majority leader is to plan our gummies every year. I forgot to throw that back.
Did our previous legislative majority leader do that?
But I wanted to plan that one. I forgot to throw that in, and the speaker is more than willing to fill you in what the gummies are, because they're really fun. I just.
We should impeach him.
Okay.
Chairperson recognizes Chairperson.
I would like to make two motions. One to move to a secret ballot vote. Second is to move to a 5-minute recess to conduct said secret ballot vote.
There's
Second.
Agree. Would Speaker DeVore be amendable to, are we allowed to not reveal the vote tally?
Yeah.
Just given the amount of statements in support of one candidate over another, I'm wondering if it would be for the best that we keep the vote tally private. Just,
I support that.
I will support that amendment.
All right, then.
I mean, just come up with a winner.
Recess.
You don't get another winner, just one of you are secretly the less than.
Make sure you check the old spam again.
Yeah, check the spam. Make sure you mark it as not spam.
Oh, I got it in mind.
Okay.
Shoot.
Break that down.
I did.
SMH, how could you? Everything's your fault, Wilbur.
Right choice for this role.
Stretching.
Bros, can I take your pen?
Yes, it's a long term, well, wait, go ahead.
This one?
Yeah. Why the fuck would you hate your job?
Because I work nights, right, every night.
That's fucking awesome.
I'd rather have be able to hang out with my friends after work.
What do you do at Park Ranger? This.
It's glamorous. I mean, it's a city park, So I. Oh, okay.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, yeah. I like, I like being in reports and I like hiking in the back there.
As far as that, like literally everything. I don't think I've been.
It's heavily, it's like biking trails. It's windy. It's not just a city park.
Maybe you need to go there and get lost, so he has to come. Is it?
On the trail.
As long as I can jog in it, and,
A lot of hiking.
Oh, should we bring?
Do you guys have like a rate? Well, then you're not. I'm fine.
Where
I think myself, I don't know, I'll be out.
Y'all can let Mary back.
Yeah, you're not gonna make me chair for 2
Oh
minutes.
my god. I'm just trying to see if they have any good. I've been here since
I
9.
do wanna know what's.
I've been here since 9, guys. Hold on, 9.
Official Jonathan Matthews administration statement, I'm hunky.
That's the point of person really. I'm hungry would in fact fall under the point of.
Oh, you should have shared. You have enough for the rest of the class? Well, if you don't have enough for the rest of the class, you shouldn't, just like,
Getting food is a point of
elementary.
privilege. If you ever want to, do that.
Good, no one needs to give me.
Time up for recess.
Watch where you're going.
I think everybody.
Staying in here.
I don't like.
Oh, the bistro is so good, actually.
Maybe we should start placing the bets.
Yeah.
They were.
Vision odds.
Oh, yeah, like you can't.
Like the mushroom or the chocolate?
Just work through and figure out which one to take.
This one just, I assume it does.
This is like your vision odds.
I also like to
Say out loud.
whenever we have GPM, so I can look at the window and realize how great it would be if I were to be outside right now.
Just so everyone knows, the building does close in 5 minutes.
If Advisor Miller is here, then we're good to stay, but just fair warning, building does close at 7. I don't know where she is. So we'll just pretend she's here.
Her stuff is there.
Yeah,
Exactly, so we'll just keep pretending she's here, she's gotta come back for her.
for student employees to let us.
Yeah, well, I thought it was fine because we're student employees.
Yeah, that's
It's
usually what they
fine
say.
Because Advisor Miller's here, according to Chris Reed, it's fine because she's here.
Well, the workers never.
Well, they don't yell during the office. Let's all do it in the office.
You with the director of the building.
We should start like.
Is cool.
Can we?
No, it's 2 hours. Are we?
Yeah.
Or on Gmail.
Ooh, we could go to one of the academic buildings.
Just,
there's too many of them.
Just go.
go.
I mean, one of those big.
We have the
lecture rooms
votes, let's
after.
go.
The recess has ended.
Well, I'll carry you.
The recess has ended. And now I will reveal the.
Oh, did
Result
bring
of the
her back.
secret. Of the secret ballot. And congratulations, legislator Brummer, on majority.
Right.
All right, moving on to the next agenda item is approval of SAFB chair presented by President Johnson.
Can the computer hear me from right here? Or do I need to?
Can you guys hear him?
Right here, can y'all hear me? Okay, it says the microphone's working. I will. I mentioned to you all at the last meeting that the first position I actually wanted to hire for was the SAFB chair. Considering that SAFB is switching away from resorts and onto my sale, which is something I will talk about later actually. And because I want to make sure that the transition to whomever the chair is as smooth as possible, I have chosen our, I guess, former director of accounting for SAFB, Divya, and I'm going to butcher your last name, is it Agrawala?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
So I will let her speak for herself and to you all.
So, hi everyone.
to everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Divya Agrawala and I joined SAFP in winter 2025 this year. I was working as the Director of Accounting. For all those who approved me, thank you so much. And thank you, Mark Sania, for considering me a candidate or approving me as the SAFP chair. So for everyone who doesn't know, as Marcus mentioned, SAFP is undergoing through a change where we will be migrating from GrisOgs to MySafe completely. So GrisOgs will not be existing as a portal. And because I was already working with the team, I am aware of what the forms look like. And I think that gives me an advantage over the other candidates that were interviewed because it makes a lot of difference as to what is needed and what is not needed. And because I've been working with SAFP, I'm aware of their insights of the operations, of the finances, as the Director of Accounting for the past 6 months. And I think this would be a natural progression or a natural growth from Director of Accounting to SAFP chair. Hence, I was willing to apply and I applied and I'm considered for this position. A little background about me, I'm an international student from India and I'm currently doing a master's in finance here at Oakland. I have 2 years of work experience again back in India as a finance associate for a manufacturing company and I've done my bachelor's in business administration with a major in finance. So I'm very keen about finance and accounting. And as SAFP chair, I am really looking forward to handling the structural changes that we'll be having and looking forward to a new team and seeing how smoothly we can get this transition.
Any questions? Chair recognizes Peter Ward.
Okay. Hi. I'm just gonna ask a question. Seeing as you're part of the board of SAFB that approved separation from OUSC, that did fail in the legislature last year. I'm wondering what your plan as SAFB chair is to mend the relationship with OUSC and SAFB moving forward.
Okay, so the separation is not my current priority. Like I mentioned, we have a lot of structural changes happening and we have a migration happening. So my first priority would be the migration hiring team. And I am expecting to have a better relationship with Student Congress and expecting a lot of support from your end as well. Because at the end of the day, you all are more experienced. You guys do have insider experience and I would love to gain some input from OUSC as general. I do agree that there was a separation bill and I believe there's a reason why it was not passed and I will stand back for it for the time being because again, like I mentioned, there are more things that need my plans.
Any other questions?
I'm unconvinced.
No? Okay, great. We can go into the hallway for discussion.
Yeah.
The chairperson recognizes Chairperson Velez.
Well, I've talked to her a few times. She's very professional. I really like her work ethic and yes, I support her. So that's what I guess.
Chairperson recognizes Chairperson's place.
Gonna make this quick. I voted to approve Divya for Director of Accounting in the first place. I think she is a great candidate for SAFB chair, and I'll be glad to vote for her. With that, I yield.
Oh, Chairperson recognizes President Jones.
I will say that the decision for this position was very grueling. It's had two rather extremely qualified individuals for the position. But as I said earlier, the deciding factor on this was which candidate will be easier to transition into the position. And I chose Divya because, like I said, she was in SAFB when a lot of the more recent decisions were made, like removing the funding category caps on each for all of the clubs. She knows more about that than her opponent candidate did, so it's easier for her to be up to date on the new rules because she was a part of those.
Chairperson recognizes legislators now.
Hi, I know we've talked about it a bit before the meeting. I just wanted to hear from Miss Agrawala. Apologies, I know I just butchered that. If possible, I know you were in SAFP last year. What? And to my understanding, their board has not been.
Excuse me, legislator, Snell, this is discussion, the
Uh,
Divya has left the room.
apologies then. Vice President Matthews, I'm sure you can answer the same question. You were a part of SAFB last year. I know, to my understanding, SAFB has not been fully established yet this year due to not having a chair. Did the last year group of SAFB approve of Divya? Simply because I don't feel like it's our right to select someone that they did not approve of.
Yes, they did.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right, let's go into a vote. Speaker DeVore.
Yay.
Chairperson Smith.
Yay. Oh shit, I can't.
Legislator Brummer. Oh, ooh, wait, hold on. She's now.
Ooh. Well, majority leader.
Oh, my bad. Oh.
Yeah, but Bella is parliamentarian.
I'm majority leader, Brummer,
Sorry, guys.
She was parliamentarian one time. She could do it again.
All right, so what are you missing still? You chair, just speaker.
Lovely. Okay. Yeah. All right, majority leader Brummer.
Yay.
Legislator Fayette Ate.
Yay.
Legislator Lemon Pace.
Yay.
Legislator Martino.
Yay.
Legislator Christian Darrow.
Yay.
Legislator Snell.
Yay.
Legislator Van Patten.
Yay.
Chairperson Valdez.
Yay.
Legislator Barris.
Yay.
Barris. Legislator Jerswicki.
I believe legislator just began to leave.
Legislator Ibeza. Legislator Lunger.
Legislator Lunger took a point of privilege.
Legislator Maku.
Yay.
Legislator Markowitz.
Yay.
Legislator Mason.
Yay.
Legislator Obra.
Yay.
Legislator Rosario.
Yay.
Legislator Serbu.
Yay.
Legislator, parliamentarian Bella.
Yay.
Legislator Waters.
Yay.
Legislator Wolf. Yay. Okay.
Somebody go get.
With that, she has been approved.
Wait the call. Oh.
I want to ask though.
Congratulations, SAP chairperson.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was just gonna say thanks, Nia, for all the support. She's been an amazing support all this while. And thank you so much. And I will see you all around. I really have to leave, but thank you so much again.
I was gonna motion to strike the bills. If there's opposition, do we have to go to a discussion or can we just go?
We can just go to a vote, but you also need a second.
I know,
Can we do this motion after the last approvals?
I think it would take like 2 minutes. Well, if you don't want to entertain a motion, you don't have to.
Is there a motion?
Yes, I motion to strike the bill into resolutions from the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
There is an objection.
So
We vote. We just vote.
Go straight to.
Okay.
I want to discuss.
We already had enough discussion.
Do we have,
It's
do
just
we have a
been
motion?
an hour and a
Have
half.
we got a motion to move straight to a vote?
We just go straight to vote anyway.
So are we?
They're voting on the motion to strike the bill's resolution.
I see.
This would leave the hearing format, but none of the other.
We'll put it here.
Make sure it.
Oh. Motion to. Right.
It's gonna make the next meeting agenda a million years long.
Lovely. It should.
It looks like it does.
Okay. Speaker four.
Nay.
Chairperson Smith.
Nay.
I'm a waste of time.
Majority Leader Brummer. Yay. Legislator Fayette Ate.
Nay.
You voted. Didn't you vote?
Legislator Lemon Pace.
Yay.
Over.
People seem to little
Nay.
blind to it.
Legislator Prishandaro.
Yay. Changing my vote.
Legislator Snell.
You guys come back to me.
Legislator Van Patten.
Yay.
Chairperson Valdez.
Nay.
Legislator Barris.
No.
Abstain.
Good, calm down.
Legislator Squeaky.
Did she use it last?
Yeah, she
Oh, I'm
left.
so sorry, okay. And so did Evasive and.
Yeah.
Holy. Okay, maybe it
Longer
is.
was Pereira.
Longer.
Oh, I
So we could treat her as a pass.
Longer here, did we like establish that?
Legislator Snell said that she didn't like privilege.
Alright, Legislator Markowitz, or Markowitz?
Nay.
Legislator Markowitz,
Yay.
Legislator Mason,
Yay.
Legislator Obra,
Yay.
Legislator Rosario,
Nay.
Legislator Serbu,
Abstain.
Legislator Parliamentarian Vella,
Yay.
Legislator
Oh, Lord.
That was the discussion.
Fisher Willis,
That's gracious.
Legislator Waters,
Yay.
Legislator Wolf,
Yay.
Legislator Snell.
Nay.
It has passed.
Now the next meeting is gonna have like 70 still left.
Meetings.
We all get paid to be here. I don't get the point.
Chairperson Valdez, would you mind amending the agenda?
Yeah, but
How many of them?
We're keeping everything.
Everything
We're
but
only
the
keeping.
hearing.
No, that you said.
Everything, get rid of everything
The
except.
bills and resolutions.
Except the
Just the bills and
approval of commuter.
That's what, Sue.
We're getting rid of everything except.
Zero one.
Everything except the hearing, yeah.
Well, it says, okay, that's not bill of resolutions.
Yeah, no, I literally have to put that up.
That is required by law. Okay,
There we go.
move forward in the agenda.
Approval of the community board chair presented by Clover DeBoer.
Okay. All right, last approval of the day. All right, this one's the community support chair. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it brief. I'm gonna let him speak for himself. There we go, Legislator Waters.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jack Waters. I have been a legislator on this body for about 8 months. I joined in October of 2024. And I'm running for the commuter support chair. I'm going to start off by saying I am a commuter. I commute like 35 to 40 minutes every time I want to come here because I live in Fraser. So I understand the challenges of being a commuter and what we might be able to do to help commuters on this campus. So I want to tell the body my plans, or some of them at least, because I know they will expand if I am approved. So many students come here, they go to class, they go to their car, they go back to class, they get their car, they leave. I would like to lower the amount of students that do that. And part of my plan to do that is by doing fun events, doing a lot of what the former community support chair, current legislator Markowitz did, and stuff like the spike ball tournament. I think that would be a very helpful way to at least get a hook into some students to get them on campus, be like, hey, I actually like being on campus, and maybe they'll stay a little longer and do some other things, join some clubs. And also, to build off of that, I want to work with Oakland's many student organizations to accomplish this goal, especially the athletic organizations. I feel like that would be a very good way to get people on campus because people like sports. I know I like sports, even if I don't play them as much as I should. So I hope that these will do that. And that's about all. I'm going to keep this short. I hope you'll consider me for the position, and I thank you all for your time. I'll take questions.
Are there any questions at this time? The chairperson recognizes legislator Reed.
My apologies, seeing that. Are you going to form a committee? Do you have any?
Well, I didn't hear the last part.
Are you planning on forming a committee?
Yes, I would like to form a committee.
Chairperson recognizes legislator Fayette Ete.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the legislator Waters, how exactly through these events do you plan on getting more commuter students on our campus? Because personally, knowing many commuters personally, they are solely here for their education, even if there is stuff on campus. They tend to not be too invested in it as they have other stuff going on outside of campus.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question. I think a lot of that could actually be done by continuing what our former community support chair, legislator Markowitz did, which I plan on continuing with doing stuff like in the classroom. So like the maximizing college, stuff like that, to engage students within the classroom. And also I feel that working with our eventual director of marketing to market these events maybe more than we have in the past. Thank you.
Are there any more questions at this time? Hearing none, we will move into discussion. Legislator Waters, would you please mind me?
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Motion to move to voting.
We're discussing.
Is there a second?
Motion to skip discussion.
Yes.
Second.
Alrighty, well, let's just go into a vote. Lovely. Speaker DeWar.
Yay.
Chairperson Smith.
Yay.
Majority Leader Brummer.
Yes.
Legislator Fayette Ete.
Nay.
Legislator Langman Pace.
They to spice it up.
What?
Legislator Martino.
Yay, because. What's the point?
Legislator Prishandaro.
Yay. For authenticity.
Legislator Snell.
Yay.
Stupid. It's just, it's like the people who vote nay.
Point of order.
Legislator Van Patten,
Yay.
Chairperson Valdez,
Yay.
Legislator Barris,
Yay.
Legislator Legislator Maku,
Okay.
Legislator Markowitz,
Yay.
Legislator Mason, Legislator Obra,
Yay.
Legislator Rosario,
Yay.
Legislator Sherbu,
Yay.
Legislator, Parliamentarian Vela,
Yay.
Legislator Waters.
Is out of the room because he's being.
That makes sense. Legislator Wolf. Abstain. And with that, he has been approved, so.
Got to vote on himself.
So why can't the legislators select the chair?
Yeah.
How do you vote?
Abstain.
It still passes.
Yes.
Congratulations. Okay, moving on to the next agenda item is the reading of the hearing format.
And vote.
Yes.
Okay, this is something as judiciary chair, I'm required to put up once per term because it's my job. So what is the hearing format? If you could put that on the screen, it's somewhere around there. Thank you.
So sorry, guys.
Thank you. What is the hearing format? The Judiciary Committee, it has grievances, it has inquiries. They get hearings for people to talk, people to testify in favor or against things, or for themselves, or against somebody if there's a grievance. And of course, the judiciary has to vote on those things. There's rights, which you don't have to show, but it's linked there, which essentially just informs people what they have the right to do, what they can do if they don't like the result, which is that they can appeal to the congressional court, which does not exist more currently. Probably hasn't existed since 2021. Essentially what I changed from last year to this year is it was very small amount of changes. I added a tiny bit more to the rights just because I wanted to inquiry. Pretty much all the changes I made were to include more things that were inquiry related, because going into being judiciary chair last year, I thought I would be more there would be more hearings about grievances rather than inquiries, so I focused on them, and I realize now that's not the case. So I've kind of shifted it to focus a little bit more on inquiries and be a bit more equitable in that regard. And I also added the Judiciary Committee logo because that's literally all the changes I've made. And this is accessible to everyone. It's on the agenda. You can read through it. Any questions?
I think this looks highly appropriate. Do you have any concerns yourself on that?
Not particularly. I will mention, thank you for asking that, because that did remind me of something. It does say that there's debate questioning, there's an intermission, just for like a break if we need it, that can be skipped. And for a vote, there is an option that the judiciary can vote to essentially vote at the next meeting. So there's time to like ponder on it, or just in case in case there's any reason at all that would want to be done. I'm not exactly sure what scenario that would want to be done in, because I added that a long time ago. But I'm no stranger to not foreseeing things that happen because life hates me, I guess. Anything else?
Legislators now.
I know we talked about this before, but just remind me, why exactly does the reading of rights come before the call to order? Like, when do you want everyone focused on what's happening before reading off their rights?
No, because thank you for bringing that up, because that lets me tell everyone else this. The hearing is already within another meeting, so we're like I've like at this point I've called to order the Judiciary Committee meeting. we're through a section, I believe, where the judiciary chair gives like a general report of what they're doing, what people on the committee have been doing. And so everyone at this point, once we get to the part about hearings, is kind of already locked in and focused. So just to really like, it's more so a show, it's a symbolism thing that the reading of rights for the call to order of the actual hearing. So before going into the hearing, anybody who is filing an inquiry or has a grievance filed against them, or somebody who filed a grievance, knows exactly what rights they're entitled to. Anything else? I'll take my leave.
All right, moving into a roll call vote for the approval of the hearing format. Speaker DeWar.
Yeah.
Chairperson Smith.
Yay.
Majority Leader Brummer.
Yay.
Legislator Fayette. Ate.
Yay.
Legislator Lemon Pace.
Yay.
Legislator Martino.
Yay.
Legislator Dario.
Yay.
Yay.
Legislator Snell.
Yay.
Legislator Van Patten.
Good.
Chairperson Valdez.
Yay.
Legislator Barris.
Yay.
Legislator Driswicki. Oh, okay. Legislator Marcoux.
Yay.
Legislator Markowitz.
Abstain.
Legislator Mason. Legislator Obra.
Yay.
Legislator Rosario.
Yay.
Legislator Serbu.
Same. Good form.
What happened to parliamentary Bella
Yeah, where did, wait,
and legislator?
yeah, there's a couple people off again.
Legislator Vella or Parliamentarian Vella.
Yay.
Chairperson.
Legislator Waters.
Yay.
Legislator Wolf.
Yay.
And with that, it has passed.
Yay, you've made my life easier.
All right, moving on to discussion, as there is none, moving on to legislative updates. Speaker of the legislator, you have the floor.
Alrighty. Alright, I will try and keep this short and sweet. I do have a couple of things I do need to talk to you all about. First off, I would like to congratulate Parliamentarian Bella, Chairperson Waters, Majority Leader Plummer on being the newly elected legislative leadership. And with that, all of the legislative leadership positions are now filled. Yippee! I said 2 weeks, that's probably a record or something. So with that, since all of those positions are approved, that means that all of you now have to go to committees, because it's required of all legislators to join a committee. So, the 3 people who have already expressed interest in creating a committee, well, I guess 4, including myself, would be my research and review committee, it would be the judiciary chair's judicial committee, the steering chair's steering committee, and the commuter support chair's commuter support committee. Parliamentary committee also may be a thing. I would have to talk to him about what he plans on doing with that. But yeah, like I said, you're all required to join a committee at some point since you're all part of the legislature. I'll talk about this a little bit more next week. But in the drive, there's a document called Legislative Requirements. It has a list of all of the different committees that we have. Some of them don't exist yet because we don't really have any board positions yet, but it just gets you thinking about what you might want to do. Try to join a committee that, you know, is related to what initiatives you're focused on working on as right in student Congress. And then next up, as I mentioned next week, there'll be training and bonding day. That'll be the 21st at 11:30 in the Lake Huron room. We'll be running through a lot of the new stuff you'll be needing to know as a legislator, like how to write legislation, some different protocols, just a bunch of new stuff that I might not have learned yet. There'll be food too. What's up? There'll be food. Oh yeah, there will be food. Yeah, we're doing a bonding event right after, just because we have so many new people. We have a 28-person legislature. That's really cool. We'll get everybody to know each other. At that point, you'll get to know your mentor or mentee as part of the mentorship program. Yeah, 11:30 to 3 next week, Lake Huron room. Let me know now if you're able to show up to that. If not, I will have to have a legislative training session with you one-on-one, and I prefer not to do that if possible. And lastly, if you do not have your timesheet yet or your work referral signed, please let me or Vice President Matthews know now, because we need to get those done as fast as possible. Because now that the budget's passed, we'd like you to get paid for your work. That's about all I had. Legislative role.
Will there be vegetarian?
That was something I forgot to ask. If you have any dietary restrictions, if you want vegetarian food or anything like that, please let me know now, because I'm about to place that food order tonight. With that, that's all my updates. Yes.
No, go save it.
What's up?
I have the requisitions here.
Okay. Okay. I have work referrals here if you need them. I am not gonna read off.
I'll read.
Okay. Move on to the agenda here.
Liaisons reports. Do we have any liaisons? Updates related to legislative leadership. Chairperson Valdez.
Okay, guys, so as you heard from Albert, I'm opening a steering committee, so if anyone wants to join, let me know. So it's basically just to help me decide what things go over the agenda to make this more effective. And that's pretty much it. So if you're interested, please reach out and see how I can get you a proposal. Thank you.
Chairperson Smith, you have the floor.
Thank you. Okay, so it's been a long 1 week for me as judiciary chair this term. Woo woo. So last meeting, I talked about how last year there was not a lot of interest in the Judiciary Committee. It took me literally the entire term to get it entirely filled. And I was crying, sobbing, and screaming, not wanting that to happen again. And thankfully, you guys came through. We actually had 8 people express interest. There's not 8 seats, there's only 5. So I had to have a rough session of, oh my God, who would be the best for the committee? And I have chosen some people. Those people know who they are. They will, praying and hoping most, if not all of them, will go for approval quickly next meeting in 2 weeks. Because I have a bunch of inquiries and a bunch of stuff to get through the Judiciary Committee, and I would like to start working on that as soon as possible because I feel swamped. I would like to reiterate for all those that are here, there is a requirement for you to be at our legislature meetings, our task forces, which those two are kind of going to be merged this semester. If those two are going to be merged this semester. And if you cannot attend, that is perfectly okay. Just fill out the excused absence form. The email you get that has the agenda, it is linked in there. You can find it there. Fill that out and I will approve your absence, and you can DM me on Slack, or if you have my number, use my number. You can ask if you were approved or not. The answer is most likely yes. I don't think the only time I've ever denied people's absences is if they filed the excused absence after the meeting had already happened, which is, I used to just not like, now it's against the rules. So I'm just not gonna entertain that. There is an inquiry form if you have any questions relating to how OUSC functions and and disagree with the way we function in comparison to our bylaws or anything like that. File an inquiry. The judiciary will sort through it. Even if you end up being on the judiciary, I submitted two of the four grievances that we have. It's perfectly fine. And I don't think we'll have to worry about this anytime soon. Hopefully, if any member of OUSC that you know has violated any rules, has acted unethically in any way, shape, or form, inside or outside of OUSC, file a grievance. The judiciary will handle it, and we will handle that accordingly. I don't believe there's anything else. If there's any questions regarding anything I said, or just any questions in general, let me know. That I yield.
The chair recognizes Chairperson Waters.
Thank you. This will be quick. First off, thank you. And second, as said earlier, I am going to be making a commuter support committee. If that is something you are interested, please reach out to me. I would love to fill my committee quite quickly, so we can get to work with that. Thank you. I yield.
Are there any other reports related to legislative leadership? The chair recognizes Speaker DeVore.
Just because Chairperson Smith brought it up, yeah, we are also required to attend legislator meetings, and task forces. Those will be held every week. Okay, since GBMs are switching to every other week, weeks that are not GBMs will be task forces / legislative meetings, if that makes sense. I'm hoping it does. But yeah, it'll just be combined into one thing. It'll separate back when we hit fall, but that's how we're doing it right now. Just make sure you're attending those, and if you're not, excuse absence form.
Speaker DeVore, have you reserved a room for those?
I will have to speak with President Johnson about doing that.
Updates related to legislative reports and initiatives. Seeing none, questions related to legislative reports.
Yeah.
Is the chair recognizes legislators now?
Is bonding a requirement?
No, it's not a required thing. I'm gonna require you to attend. Sorry. I'm not gonna require y'all to attend, but it is a cool thing that is filling a requirement. Like I said, every person in the legislature is required to attend one legislative training session, which I'm holding. So if you're not able to go to that, we'll need to do like a one-on-one training session at some point, which is fine. I just figure it'd be easy to do en masse, plus we all get to know each other a little bit. That's why I'm doing it this way.
Any other questions? Alrighty, moving on to executive reports, delivered by President Marcus Johnson.
Let's see, what are the fun things for me to update you all on? Oh, so as you all saw, we did finally start an OUSC Discord, and I checked yesterday, and for 24 hours, we've got almost 80 people to join it. So yay, kudos for that, that's great. We are also making a Google site to transition off of the UCM ran website, because that takes years and decades to actually get uploaded. So something that is included on that is a section about the legislature. I'm going to work with Speaker DeVore to develop a form so that you all could submit what you'd like said about you. It's just your name, whatever pronouns you're comfortable going on there, and just like a little bio about you. If you like, there's an option for you to have a picture of yourself on there. It's optional. You don't have to do it. If you don't want to, the option's just there for those that do. But Speaker DeVore will get that sent out to you once I've chatted with her to make sure that that's good to go. With remote work, just want to remind you all, if you've submitted a request so far, I've gotten it into VP-MAC. I cannot guarantee he will approve all of the ones that I've given him, but I can guarantee to you that I have given them to him. If you have not received an email telling you that you have been approved for remote work, you should not be clocking in remote work. Because not only do we have a record of that, but OSI does as well. So they do payroll, they're able to see who's approved to be working remotely. And we're going to put it on the timesheet so that you know what the work. Beyond that, the only real thing I probably should keep you informed. I can't remember. If I have something else, I'll mention it later. I'll heal. So.
as far as executive report, I finished most of the SAFB transition stuff that I was working on this past Monday. I've also sent out that email for the Discord to get everyone on there. I've also attended interviews for what was the
Assistant dean students.
Yeah, the applicant today was really cool, and I really did like her. And then there's also one tomorrow, which I believe President Johnson will be at. So yeah, I think that's it as far as my executive reports. Advisor Miller.
If you want to just come like right up here so that these things can pitch.
One piece of training that I need for all of you to know, that is campus protocols. And it pertains to all of you, even pertains to the exec board. And that is, you are not, these following departments or offices or individuals, you are not to contact on your own. But you either work through myself, or you can also work through your president as well. So that means you're not to contact OUPD, the office of the president, general counsel, which is our legal counsel, the registrar's office, payroll department, risk management, accounts payable, the accounting department, student employment, or the local police and fire departments. Now, if there's something personal, you can contact, it's personal, but it is relationship to your role as a legislator or exec board member of OUSC, then you work with us. We will make sure whatever your concerns are, whatever your needs are, will be taken care of. And sometimes they will say that they will talk to you directly. But if you contact them, they're going to contact me right back. And the other thing is, we don't want to blindside any of them. The reason why we don't do the local police and fire departments is because OUPD is a certified, they are a real police department. They are not security here. They may be able to take care of your needs, or they can help with working with other police departments and fire departments. And we don't want to blindside them showing up on campus because someone made a contact with them without that knowledge base, because this is their jurisdiction. So just to make sure that's perfectly clear to everybody here, this campus protocol is not just for you, OUSC. I go through this student organization training, so it is for everyone. I'm not just pointing it out to you yourselves, but you got to role model it too. So I appreciate you listening to this. I don't know, I unfortunately next Wednesday are going to be reviewing all the scholarships for student affairs, so that we are going to make that selection finally, so that you should know by the end of the month whether you receive it or not. So that's what I'm going to be doing at the same time you're going to do yours. But if you have any questions or concerns, or if you have something that you need in terms of policies and procedures, I will be happy to get that information to you so you can relate to everybody on Wednesday. Everybody good? Thank you.
Updates related to keyword projects and initiatives.
I did send you all an email about it, but I figured I'd address it now. I was looking through our applicants for our e-board positions, and I noticed that a friend of mine had applied for one of those positions. Because I'd like to approach that ethically and transparently, I have removed myself from the selection process on that. I've asked Advisor Miller to sit in on the interviews and help VP Matthews make a final decision on that one. Because while I like to think that I am unbiased as a person, Legislator Lehman Pace said it best, no one is actually ever unbiased. And I don't need there being any perception of anything icky going on. So if my friend is chosen, I'd like to know that there's nothing to do. I'm gonna sit that one out and focus on the other aspects of the job. Now I'm done. That's what I forgot to say.
Questions related to executive reports?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Advisor Miller, list of organizations we're not allowed to contact, that's in the policy procedures training for OSI. Okay, so I want to take that, because I have access to the training from last year. I wanna pin it up on the board we have in the legislature office, because I feel like that'd be useful.
I will. Yeah, and I will note, we do have an actual spreadsheet. Speaker DeVore and I saw it, and I recently got it updated. It will be in the drive. So that it's a bit more in-depth. It's not just which organizations, but which individuals, it gives you a clear guideline of, can you contact this person? Me to contact this person, or can you contact them as long as I'm involved in you contact? Stuff like that, but Speaker DeVore will go much more in depth about that during the training.
Any other questions? Hearing none and seeing no gallery members.
We do.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you have any questions from the gallery?
Comments from the gallery.
All right, any other announcements this time? All right, so none, we have adjourned this meeting at 7:40. Yeah.
The youngest game make it for 3 hours.
I remember 2 terms ago, we had a meeting until 9 o'clock.
This is true. This is very true, actually.
I mean,
I was at the 3.5